Hi friends! Today we'll cover my recommendations for the upcoming Beautylish gift card event 2021. But if it's your first time here, hi! I'm Alicia. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you are returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. KINKYSWEAT stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves things all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeups, you can head over to my Instagram. If you want to check out my virtual class schedule and info on private lessons, well, please sign up for my newsletter down below. This gift card event video is not sponsored by Beautylish, but they did send me products upon my request. I chose a couple that I wanted to try out. With that said, the links down below are affiliated ones. That does mean I receive a commission, and I always like to thank you in ahead of time, even for your consideration. And if you do use it, I really thank you. If you choose not to, it's cool as well. I appreciate you just watching. Thank you, fam. With that said, I wanted to first go over all the brands I think you should take a look out for during the gift card event. Well, first of all, Alicia, when does it begin? It begins tomorrow, October 21st, 9 a.m. Pacific, but that means 12 p.m. Eastern, and it ends October 24th, 11:59 p.m. Pacific. So that means it ends a little more into the morning for Eastern. So you have a few days to think about it, to load up your basket, as a lot of us like to do. Every $100 you spend, you receive a $20 Beautylish gift card that you can use within the next year. And again, you have from October 21st through the 24th to participate in the gift card event. I wanted to take the time to share some of my recommendations and to quickly go over, as you probably already know, that Sonia G is scheduling a restock. As of now, let me head over to her Instagram page real quick. Sonia writes that there will be a lot of pieces coming back in stock soon, hopefully in time for the Beautylish gift card event. And items that are being restocked: the Sky Eye Set, Sky Face Set, Pro Face Set, Double Decker Case, the Soft Brush Book, Portable Organizer, Smooth Buffer Brush available as individual. The Face One brush should also be available. It will come with a new handle and a new name, and it will join the Pro series. Wow, that's exciting. I might have to pick that one up. Any Sonia G brush I would totally recommend. These are some of my Sonia G brushes here. I have like one lonely Sky Face Set brush. You have the Sky Face series, distinguishable by its blue handle. Then you have the Pro series, distinguishable by its red handle. And the Face One is this guy here. This is well loved, just a unique shape, flat top powder brush that buffs in powder beautifully, whether you want to finish or apply a powder for a setting or a powder foundation. From what I just read, it seems like the Face One original fundamental handle design will now be the Pro design, which that's great, because as I was trying to say before, I do prefer this handle design over the fundamental one. The fundamental one is beautiful. It's heavy. It feels, weighty. I like to keep these at home because to travel with them, they just take up more space because of the wider surface area of the handle design. This is the Double Decker brush holder. It's modest in design, but it's very clever at the same time. Very practical in terms of all the brush slots that it contains, the plastic lining to protect the fabric from any makeup. You have zip cases in between, and you have one bigger compartment here for makeup items. So you can have your brushes on one side and makeup items on the other. That's just one bag. I have all of them. I like went crazy and bought all of them when they dropped. And the portable brush organizer folds and has Velcro lining, so you could place the inserts in whatever way, and you can have that to stand up wherever you're traveling, because that's how I prefer to keep my brushes when traveling. I'll pack them up when in transit, and then I'll put them up when I get to my destination. So again, I would recommend any Sonia G brush for sure. Now, people often ask me which eye set I would recommend, whether it be Pro or Sky. I always like to recommend the Pro eye set for medium to larger eyes, and the Sky eye set for smaller eyes, because of the mini booster brush, which is just like a little tiny blender brush that is perfect for smaller hooded eyes. In regards to the face set, I'm always partial to the Pro set because of the Face Pro. This is just a gorgeously designed brush. It has the angle, is super fluffy, medium density, just very much appropriate for several tasks. And one of my all-time favorites, the Inochige Pro, this teardrop shape brush is exquisite for cheek products because of the taper. Amazing. So Sonia G anything, yes, for the win for this gift card event. Chikuhodo and Koyudo are also sold on Beautylish if you want to take a look at any of the series under those brands, ranging from Gray Squirrel to Psycho Goat Hair to even synthetic. Recently, Koyudo released La Fuga del Gato series. This is a synthetic brush series that I was quite impressed by. This set in particular was from Fude Beauty. They were very nice to send me that set, but it is also sold on Beautylish if you want to take a look at that. Good Molecules, a skincare brand that I would recommend anyone who is trying to keep a tight budget on their skincare, as I know it can be very expensive. My standout items, one of them being the Rose Water Daily Cleansing Gel. I actually finished this and I'm thinking about getting another one during the sale. Very lightweight gel texture, but when applied with water, it has a very low sud and I think very gentle on the skin. But sometimes I just like to use a formula that's a little gel and sudsy in nature, but it's not going to strip the skin. Another all-time favorite is the Niacinamide Brightening Toner. Some people are very sensitive to niacinamide, so I would stay away if you're one of those skin types. This has a vitamin C derivative as well as licorice root extract, so very brightening. You can use morning and night. And recently I have been incorporating their new glycolic exfoliating toner. Glycolic acid and galactomyces ferment to gently remove dead skin cells and promote glowing skin. I've been using this as well. Not a lot because I've been interchanging with the Youth to the People one that's similar, but I like this because it's fragrance free. So if you're on the lookout for a glycolic treatment that's not necessarily a serum and it's not heavily fragranced, then I would recommend the Good Molecules Glycolic Toner. Natasha Denona palettes. Right now, I'm still head over heels retro. This might be... It's hard for me to say that I love it more than Lila. Right now, out of the MIDI series, this is my favorite. I think I might even like it more than Bronze. I know. How I evolved. The burgundy mauve rose tones make it for me, fam. This is so comprehensively done in terms of not only the different textures, but the different nuances in shade. And maybe it's because it's fall and I'm just enveloped in that color story now, and to have it here in retro is just utterly magnificent. And all the looks that I have done so far with that palette, I adore. Definitely recommend that. Her I Need a Nude highlighter is that gelée type of texture, so if you're looking for any of her highlighters, I would recommend those. The standout MIDI palettes for me will be Retro, Bronze, and Glam. People love Glam because it's just simple to use every day. The metallic formula in there, very smooth, and also the tones overall are neutral and cool. The bigger palettes are a harder sell for the makeup wearer who doesn't wear a lot of eyeshadow to begin with, so you do get a lot of product and might not be the most practical thing to buy. So that's why I would recommend her smaller 15 pan palettes. And again, Retro, Bronze, and Glam are the standouts for me. Viseart, without a doubt. Viseart, known for their pro eyeshadow formula. This is the Neutral Mattes Milieu palette. Very modest in packaging, again, because it is a pro line. The base is magnetic, so you can pop these out and mix them with whatever. And the top is clear, so you can see your shadows right away. But their newest Attendu eyeshadow palette design is slightly bigger than their edit. It still has 12 shadows, but I think it's still very slim and ultra travel friendly. These pack well, and because of the palette and how it folds, the shadows will be protected. Great for the consumer because, as you saw, the Pro series has all either matte or shimmer, because in a pro setting you can't mix your textures, or otherwise the result will be like your job or not. Whereas this will have mattes, shimmers, and metallics all in one palette. And I think the Viseart color stories are just beyond thoughtful. The matte formula, very easy to blend, and I think very user-friendly for a makeup beginner. If they're just getting into makeup and they're not really confident in their makeup skills, I think Viseart is a great formula to start with. And again, the color choices are accessible. They're not intimidating, but they're fun too. Viseart likes to sprinkle in a little dazzle-razzle here and there, but still have it grounded in terms of approach. So whoever decides to use that palette will be very happy with their makeup looks. Something I'm very excited about and will pick up for show is the Danessa Myricks Lightwork 3 palette. It is dropping 12 midnight, so I will be there with y'all to pick up that palette. This is Lightwork 1. It's all highlighters, but what's so exciting about Lightwork 3 is that the pans are smaller and is, I believe, a pigment palette that you use for highlighter, for shadow, anywhere on your cheeks or eyes. The formula though for Danessa Lightwork is incredible. So shiny and smooth, and a lot of the shades in Lightwork 3 are duochrome. It just looks amazing. So I'm definitely picking that up and will follow through with the Beautylish haul video for sure. I'm trying to behave. Okay? I don't want to get too crazy because Mama's on a budget too. And before we get into the products that I picked that Beautylish sent, I also wanted to recommend the Wayne Goss eyeshadow palette Tourmaline. This one, although I didn't do a video on it, and this was sent to me, by the way, a huge thank you to Beautylish for sending me this palette. This by far is my most favorite release from Wayne in regards to his eyeshadow palette. I am a sucker for plums, mauves, as you saw when I pined over retro. These are really soft and easy to use colors. They glide over the skin. They're very soft and blur-like when blending. Very user-friendly. The topper shade has really beautiful sparkle without it being chunky and overwhelming on the skin. You can pick up enough with your finger, tap it on any of the shades here. His brushes, of course, they hold a special place in my heart, as that was my first Fude purchase. I think it was in 2017 that I bought his set, and ever since then it was a wrap. I was done. His nude lipstick collection, which Nutmeg and Pecan are my shades of choice for my skin tone. This is Pecan. Nutmeg I've worn in other videos, and if I did, that link will be down below in the respective video. Those are my general recommendations from brands that I love, that Beautylish carries. Now to go into the products that I chose to try out and just to share, we'll start with skincare. We'll start off with the Belif Aqua Balm Makeup Removing Cleansing Balm. I know I was saying that I retired the two-step cleansing process, but here we are. A liar. Depending on the day, if I didn't wear any makeup, I would cleanse once for sure. In the past, I would cleanse twice anyway, but I think right now I'm just a little more practical. But on makeup wearing days, I will go in with a makeup remover first. I was very much intrigued by Belif is a well-known Korean skincare brand, and they are most well known for their Aqua Balm moisturizer. They come in two types, like more of like a gel cream and a more traditional cream. This retails for $34. Says here, melt away makeup with Belif Aqua Balm Makeup Removing Cleansing Balm. Born from the DNA of Belif's cult favorite, the True Cream Aqua Balm. This explosively hydrating 3-step texture transforming balm to cream to oil cleansing balm completely and gently removes all traces of makeup. Lotus flower cleanses dirt. Marshmallow root protects and moisturizes skin. Lady's mantle provides antioxidant and pore minimizing benefits. Now in terms of benefits, because you are rinsing this off, don't know how much these ingredients can deliver. I primarily bought this because of I wanted to try the texture, since the True Cream Aqua Balm is like a cult favorite. So it does come with the spatula. This is the texture of the product. When I used this last night, it was like a lot of other cleansing balms that I have encountered. You see that it turns into the oil very quickly. It does have fragrance. It kind of reminds me of the Heimish cleansing balm, although I think the Heimish just a touch more citrusy. If you don't like fragrance or you just cannot tolerate it, then unfortunately this is a skip for you. This has a citrus scent too. I think because people just love for their cleansing step to smell good. It's very ritualistic in nature. I could do without it. but I do enjoy the texture. I like how it rinses. It doesn't have a residue left behind as some other balm like formulas do that I have tried in the past. It leaves the skin very soft and silky, but I still do follow with a second cleanser just to remove that residue, because it still will leave a little bit of a residue since it is a balm. And the texture is very silky. When it breaks down from balm to oil, it makes it just for smooth swirling around the skin. And I make sure I spend an hour really, and I make sure I spend a minute swirling and twirling the makeup off. And again, the silky texture just makes it very easy to achieve that. So if you don't mind the scent and you generally like Belif products, then I would recommend that you try the cleansing balm. Next, we have the Allies of Skin, which I wanted to try last year, but the product that I had requested was sold out. This is expensive. Unlike Good Molecules, if you are in a skincare budget and you can't throw heavy cash on skincare, that I would check out Good Molecules. The Mandelic Pigmentation Corrector Night Serum is $92. What compelled me to choose this is 11% Mandelic, lactic, and salicylic acid cocktail, if you will. This next generation overnight serum, pH of 3.5, is supercharged with a hard-working blend of 11% mandelic, lactic, and salicylic acid, 1% bakuchiol, 8 brighteners, and 7 antioxidants and peptides. And I heard mandelic acid is optimal for targeting post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation more so than glycolic. I don't know off the top of my head why, but I was interested in implementing a product that relies on mandelic acid. It also includes hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, essential fatty acids from organic rosehip, and tamanu oil. Tamanu oil is also recommended for combating post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Texture-wise, really nice and silky on the skin. It absorbs pretty quickly, but there is a portion of time before it completely absorbs that there's a little tack to it, and it is designed to be a night serum. So don't put this on during the day because of the high percentage of AHAs in here. That will be really bad. After water, you have the mandelic acid, glycerin, butylene glycol, niacinamide. The peptides fall further down the list. And the tamanu oil, where is it? I think, let me see here. It's 9th on the list. Don't know how much of an impact it will have overall. And unfortunately, I think because of the tamanu oil, it does have a very herbaceous scent to it. Tamanu oil typically has a very strong scent. I did not see any artificial fragrance or fragrance like linalool or citrine that like what's in the Belif cleansing balm. So I think the scent is from the rosehip seed oil, which also has a strong fragrance, and the tamanu oil. So just a heads up, I did use it last night. And I was like, oh no. Maybe, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to keep using it because I'm very, very interested to see how this does over a few months, right? I would like to commit to this in addition to my tretinoin that I will use every other day with a break in between. But I think, yes, because of the rosehip seed oil and the tamanu oil, you will smell like that earthy, herbaceous scent. Just as a heads up, it's not terrible, but I was like, oh, okay. I think I'll get used to it, but again, I will continue using it and update you all on that. Let's take a break before we get into the foundation I bought. I'm going to teach class. When I return, it might be a little different, a bit of a lighting situation, but you know what? We're going to make it happen. See you in a bit. Okay. We're back. Put on my flannel. Temperature dropped like whoa, and it was 46 this morning, fam. I ain't complaining. I'm a winter baby all the way through. Where were we? I think we just wrapped up with the Allies of Skin. Brain just farted. I'm so sorry. The Mandelic acid treatment. Yes, the Mandelic Pigmentation Corrector Night Serum. As I had just said, I will report back with its benefits, any differences that I see. I should take a photograph. I should do a before photograph. I think they're so helpful just to kind of get an idea of these $92 will be worth it for you if you did have your eye on this product, and down the road maybe you could skip on it for now, still participate in the sale and then maybe use the 20 or however many gift card dollars you have from Beautylish to then spend on the allies of skin. Maybe? Okay, this is the product that I am just most hyped about. I tried it last night and I wasn't ready, fam. Originally, I had wanted to buy the RCMA new liquid foundation and concealer, but the shades were just going, and they probably still are. I think several of them are sold out at the moment, and the shade that I thought I would be the best match with was sold out at the time when I was requesting my products. So I decided to get the 5-part palette. This retails for $30 and it is in the Shinto shade that's suitable for light to medium dark skin tones. They have 5 shades in all, so depending on your skin tone and undertone will determine which palette you get. Maybe they might have your shade from the liquid foundation. I think I might still get those products because just based off using this, I am beyond impressed. I only used it for a day. I know that is not enough time for me to really marinate in my decision in recommending this, but just from first use, let me start over again. I'm sorry, I'm just so excited. Compact design, I adore. It's plastic, it's slim, and the fact that I have 5 different shades for foundation, because you don't have just one shade on your face, you have several. With that said, I think it's optimal to have other shades on hand to mix and match because I'm lighter on the center, a little deeper around the perimeters of my face, and I have the opportunity to tackle those different hues now with this selection. Very impressed with the consistency and how this feels on the skin. It's definitely more of a cream product, as you see. There is some shine to it, so I would say this dries down to, or rather sets down to, a more natural finish. You will have a little bit of luminosity there. I would recommend that you set the foundation if you're wearing a mask wherever you are, if you rather just improve on its longevity. The fact that I can dab between both colors or all 5 colors and create a more than ideal match for my skin tone is really what got me hyped when I was using this last night. You could use this as corrector, you could use this as under eye, you could use this as foundation, concealer, however you want to integrate it in your complexion routine. I use all 5 shades, this on the innermost part, this like on the center. I mix these 2 together for the majority of my face, and then I use this shade for just very light contouring, not even, more just like bronzing. It doesn't really show up distinctly like a bronze, but nice again to juggle between those colors and create a multidimensional complexion in terms of hue. Next product that I requested that one of you had asked about, I want to say maybe a year ago, it could be less, but I could not retrieve the comment because I forgot under which video it was posted. The Ray Morris Jishaku Brush 23 Liquid Foundation Brush. This retails for $101.50. So it's expensive, but this, when someone had told me about the brush and I saw it, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna wait on that. And then here we go, the gift card event rolled around and I was able to pick up some products through Beautylish, and man, oh man, I'm happy I grabbed this brush. I tried it last night and I washed it because I wanted to present a clean brush on camera. It says here that the number 23 Jishaku brush is a liquid foundation brush that absorbs foundation and releases it as you blend for a poreless, flawless finish. The unique micro crystal fibers are vegan, cruelty-free, and feature a crystallized structure that mimics natural bristles, enhancing product pickup and seamless application of your favorite cream, powder, and liquid products. Created by makeup artist Ray Morris in collaboration with master brush makers in Japan. Fude baby. Looking at Japanese made synthetic fibers, this is one of the more unique brushes, or rather liquid foundation brushes, I now have in my collection. It's so tapered. It comes to a very thin taper here at the top. The ferrule is pretty thick. You see that it's very thick here, but it goes shoop. So it's a very sharp angle, and because of that, it has like a painterly feel when you apply it on the skin. And although synthetic is still very soft, again, it feels like a paintbrush. So when we get into the demo, I'll pull you in closer when we apply the RCMA makeup with the Ray Morris brush. And one of the standout features of Ray Morris brushes, the magnetic base, that you actually can get a metal frame from the Ray Morris line and have your brushes stand upright and they won't move. And this is a pretty powerful magnet. So I could just stick it to the leg of my desk or anywhere that's metal and it will stay just like that. I think that's super neat, very clever in terms of the design in regards to storage and handling. But we'll get into the number 23. It is an expensive brush, but I think a suitable size for under eye as well as all the face. If you wanted to just buy one brush, then we can consider the number 23. And I'm so happy I waited because I was gonna buy this before, but I'm like, wait, just wait. The new Units Orange Series brush set. This whole set retails for $123. You're getting, let me see here. So you get 10 brushes, all ranging from face to eye. It says here, add all 10 vegan cruelty-free brushes from Units Orange Series to your kit for flawless full face makeup application. The ultra soft bristles apply product smoothly while the iconic orange handles add pop of color to any brush collection. I don't know about you, but I immediately thought about Chikuhodo, their classic vermilion brush handles that has like a slant and a graphic on the bottom. So not nearly as luxe as the Chikuhodo, but I do like the orange handle and the gold ferrule, and these are very soft. I think these are also made in Japan. I can confirm with a Beautylish representative, but it says here that patented synthetic bristles mimic the performance of Japanese fude brushes for smooth application and less product waste. These feel like a superior quality of synthetic bristles. Usually the thinner they are, the more expensive they are, and also they just yield more of like that natural brush feel. So we'll get into the demo with those, with a few brushes. If you want a dedicated video just for the Orange series, I'll be more than happy to film one. I wanted to choose this set because of these two in particular, the 303 and the 304. These look to be really great foundation brushes. Now, because they look almost the same, the 303 has this angle, as you see, and the 304 is more of an even dome shape around. From the side, 304 looks to be a little thinner. The only brush I feel is missing from here is a smaller pencil brush, because the smallest brush we have is the 310. You can get on the lash line, you can get on the outer part of your lid, but not as precise as a pencil brush that I would like to use if I were blending out my liner. So I would have substituted a liner brush in place of one of these, because these are very similar. I don't think you need both in one set, but I get it. You know, there's a little bit of variety. This one again has more of an angle feel to it. This one more of a paint down feel to it. Super soft, fam. We'll get into that also in the demo. One side we'll use the Ray Morris, the other side will use the Units Orange series. Unfortunately, they only come in a set. So if you wanted to buy these individually, you would not be able to. However, if you don't have any brushes like at all, and you only use synthetic, I would consider getting this set. Great deal, $123 for 10 brushes, again, covering face and eye tasks. And I used these last night, but again, I cleaned them so that they could appear clean on camera, for the exception of this one. I left this one a little dirty. But when we try the eye brushes, I was very impressed with the blender. And this is unique because look how long these bristles are. Very long, and because of that, there's a little more flop to it, which I think lends for better blending when it comes to synthetic brushes. We'll see those in action with the following eyeshadow palette. I'm laughing because my friend Pam was like, you're gonna get this palette because you're a completionist, Alicia, and you can't ignore it. I am referring to the Instant Eye palette, Smoky Eyes Are Forever from Charlotte Tilbury. I don't need to have all of Charlotte's quads, but these for some reason I've committed to. I have no idea why. This is from 2018 again. Overall, a little like warm and plummy, I think, across the board, rose goldy. And then we had 2019. This was the design that was unlike the rest, with the Charlotte Tilbury logo, the raised logo on the bottom here. This was the one that I was excited about because it had the olive metallics. I think this one had the least amount of mattes we only have 3 mattes in here, and the rest of the shades were mostly metallic, but I thought this one to be the most comprehensive thus far, since you had like the more neutral trio, the red berry trio, the olive trio, and then like the New Year's disco night trio here with the silver, gold, and black mattes. And then we had the Pillow Talk Instant Eye Palette. So this wasn't necessarily a holiday release, but this Instant Eye Palette release, because of the Pillow Talk theme, mostly all pink, roses, and warm browns. And last year we had the Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize palette, which I think emulates just like a snowfall that's in a typically beautifully drawn like Christmas card. And I thought this one to be rather comprehensive as well, not as much as 2019, because generally I think this leans pretty warm purple. This is the only neutral, well, this definitely more neutral than the warm trio here. But because of the 2 trios here with the purple and the red, it had a little more pop of color for sure. I think it was appropriately called Bejeweled for that reason. And this year, we have the black packaging. Very luxe, very elegant. And I feel a return of what we saw in 2019. You have more of the olive hues here, but we have a matte, whereas the trio from 2019 was all metallic shades with the olive theme. This is a very light matte, which I was surprised with, because generally in Charlotte's 12 pan palettes, the mattes can run light, but this is like the lightest I've seen, with the exception of maybe what released in 2017. I don't have that palette, so I can't speak for sure. Or yes, 2017. What I will say though is that I do enjoy the 12 pan palette formula from Charlotte. I think it is very user friendly with mattes and metallics. Are the metallics like to die for, indie like shadows? No, but the demographic that Charlotte is targeting is the person who wants to have like that Hollywood glam experience with their makeup application, and that's what Charlotte delivers with her brand. She wants to bring red carpet to you in a seamless way. So the shades and the textures and the finishes that are often included in her collection are not going to be super in your face, because that's typically not how Hollywood makeup is anyway on the red carpet. But I tried these last night and I was very impressed with how easy these shadows were to blend, and the fact that with a synthetic brush. So we'll get into that, but lastly, did you see my nail polish? This is from Cirque Colors, and I had to try their thermal nail polish. This is actually from their Halloween collection. It's called the Witching Hour. And with thermal polishes, if it's warm, it's one color. If it's hot, it's another color. This one in particular is like a jelly-like polish. So I would recommend 3 coats, just so it could show up as like deep gray as possible. Even though it looks black on camera, it's more of a very deep charcoal gray. But you want to sneak in a little bit of the razzle dazzle, because it does have hollow in the polish. I don't know if you can see, it's really hard to pick it up on camera. I'm trying to shine my light on it. I'll film a video with these under light just so you can see the shine. But what's so fun about these is that when it's cold, it's this color, but when hot, it turns into a light gray. Ain't that neat? It's turning right away because it's very cold, but like you could get really cool designs when it goes from hot to cold. Like the tips can be light gray and the rest of the nail, the dark gray. But I think this color clever for the Witching Hour theme. It definitely imbues like that mysterious fog-like feel of things when you're in that realm of Halloween, you know, Witching Hour. So between changing from the dark gray to like everything in between, it's like you have a different nail polish on, you know, however many times the temperature changes on your nail beds. It is so fun. I know I'm going a little nerdy right now with the thermal nail polish, and thermal nail polish is not necessarily new. They've been around for quite some time. I just don't wear them as often, but when I do, I instantly remember why I just need to get into it, okay? All right, with all the recommendations out the way, why don't we come in a little closer to see a few of them in action? That's enough. Face is moisturized, so I will just go in straight with the RCMA. First, do a little bit of swatching so you can see the shades. This is the first shade here. See how light. Then this shade here. This I think is more of my actual, well, not really, maybe when dead of winter. And this shade here is a little warmer, as you see. This shade here, definitely a little more. This shade here, the warmest. It looks like it goes through a huge jump, but these actually are very lightweight in texture, which is what I adore about this formula, because it melts into your skin and is undetectable. It's actually kind of crazy. So I'll just blend out what I have here with my Ray Morris brush, and you see how smooth the brush is against the skin, and because the fibers are synthetic, it's not going to pick up as much product as a natural hairbrush would. It still has product on the brush, but very soft on the skin, and again, it keeps the product on, which means you don't have to use as much since the brush is not going to pick up as much. And what I like to do is dab between two colors, place that combo on the portion of my face that needs the brightening, so I'll place that under my eyes, and then I'll go between these two shades for the majority of my face, and you can see that adds a little bit of warmth. And if I need just this shade, I'll go over my blemishes here. But you see how fast that was? In a jiffy. You could swirl and twirl, you can pull down. This is not the best for pouncing. I would reserve any type of pouncing to sponge application. And the thinner design, because it's tapered, great to pull around your brow, to pull between the brows, around the nose especially. And again, I'm just dabbing between all the shades here because it's just so easy. And here's a close-up of my skin. Because it is colder, my skin is leaning a little more normal to normal dry, and it sets more natural. So there's still a little bit of, what's the word? Not moisture. You can still feel a product on the skin. However, it still looks natural in finish, and I don't mind some of my blemishes showing through. That's just, you know, the reality of it. But I just love the ease of use. I mean, I'm done. Done. If you were to try one of the Units brushes, this is a 303. Again, I'll pop on between these two and go at it. Now the Ray Morris is a slightly bigger brush than the 303 from the Orange series, so you might have to spend a little more time blending, but it's very soft. See that? Feels very plush against the skin. And even though it doesn't have a sharp edge like the Ray Morris 23, it's still small enough, I think, to get around the brow successfully, between the brows, and even under the eyes. You can definitely place some product there. Or if you wanted to use a concealer, a separate one, you can definitely blend out your concealer in the same manner. Let's try the 304, a smaller brush. So this has a little more pull to it because it's not as densely packed as the 303. You have more of like a paint down technique going in using this brush. But with the 303, I'm going into the deeper shade here. This is more than perfect for hollow the cheek product application. I mean, it just gets right in there. Since this is a wider surface area, you see how this is not going to have the same placement. You can still get it there, but see how it bends? This stays right on the surface, more so than this brush. So the size of the brush is ideal since it's not too small to do your whole face, but not too big to get to more precise areas like the hollows of your cheeks, even here on the jawline. And here's a look at the skin. Isn't this lovely? I can't get over it. That's why I'm like so compelled to try their liquid foundation and concealer. I'm all for it. All for it. Good old Char with the Airbrush Flawless Finish. This is brush number 306. Really great for under the eyes because it's slightly tapered. Very soft here, as you can see. It just flows against the skin. Very silky light. And because of the longer bristles, you can definitely use this for all over buffing if you like. More precise areas across the face here, especially here on the hollows. If you want to use the traditional powder brush, this is the 302. As you see, much rounder and definitely more appropriate if you just need to get the loose powder on. And then you have the 301, which is flat on both sides, so you could definitely get a swirl and twirl on with this brush in the same fashion you could get the round powder brush. But if you want to use this as bronzer, I'll hop into the Airbrush bronzer in number 3. I would recommend that you just grab some from the side. And this this picks up quite a bit. Let me be careful. I haven't used this one in a very long time. I think this is more optimal for bronzer application because of the flat sides of the brush. And as you see, really smooth on the blend. Yeah, if you want more of a concentrated dose of color, they can go back to the number 306 and use a smaller brush here in the hollows of your cheeks. You could use 302, but I rather use 301 because I think it just feels a little more intuitive since the brush design just fits better into the hollows for me. For me. Let's hop into Viseart's O2 Rose Coral Palette. Now looking at this now, I feel also, if not the pencil brush, in place of one of these two foundation brushes, a brush between these two. This is I would consider medium. I feel like we need a medium large one because this is a huge jump from here just for the cheeks, but you could still get away with nice cheek application with the 306. I'm going to bounce around these three shades and just go swirl and twirl on it. Yeah, on the apples of the cheeks. Yeah, maybe we don't need that brush. My imaginary medium large brush. This works because of the longer bristles. You get a nice splay on the cheeks, so it does spread the product around beautifully. There is a brush in here for highlight that I adore. This is the 305. It's flat on both sides with a nice taper. So you can grab some product here on the side and hit it right on the cheekbone. Remember this guy? I saved the box and everything. Superstar Glow Highlighter, why not? I haven't used this in a year, I feel like. Definitely a more subdued highlight, not like Pat's Lunar Nude or even any of her Nectar shades. It's more of a soft focus glow, I feel like. Because you can still see the shine, but is much more subdued. But again, with the brush, the flat side of it makes it really easy to plop color here on the cheekbones, filling out that area of your face. Let me pop on some primer. Now going into the eyeshadow, because the unit brushes, specifically now the ones we'll see the eyeshadow designs, the bristles are very long and it gives the brush more of a floppy feel. Appropriate to use with a matte that's free-flowing, blends pretty quickly. But with a matte like Pat McGrath or even like a Mel Cosmetic matte, you need a little more of a workhorse bristle that's not as floppy and silky. And that's where I feel you'll run into issues. Maybe you won't. Yeah, maybe you exclusively use synthetic brushes and you have those shadows mentioned. You could comment down below and kind of tell the fan what your experience has been. But you'll see here when I pair the units brushes with the Instant Eye palette, the blend is like, it's so easy. I was shocked. So here we go. Hopping into Smoky Eyes Are Forever. Let's first go into 307. Now, last night I did these two trios, which I think, are the best ones, the favorites for me. So we'll go into this taupey-like shade. And again, look how easy the blend is. Now, I think it's because of this matte formula, why it's so easy to get this color on the crease smoothly. And you see the brush is pretty smooth against the skin, but I'm holding it at the very end of the handle so I could apply the least amount of pressure and just have the brush glide along the skin. Because I found with some synthetic brushes that they pull the skin along with you during the blending, which is not ideal. And if you do have lids that move, I think you should still be okay with this, but that's when I would recommend like a soft goat hair or a gray squirrel brush, because that is like silk. Okay, air light flow, swirl and twirl on the skin is kind of crazy. Now let's go in with this shade. But these bristles pick up a nice amount, as you'll see. Even still, the blend is very smooth. And again, I think this formula just optimal for beginners because you don't have to do a whole lot to get the matte to look smooth on the skin. And I think these synthetic eye brushes, not too bad. I still prefer goat hair because I do think it just a touch smoother on the blend, but I'll take it. You know what I mean? Now we have this guy here. This is the 309 compared to 307. The bristles are still long. It's just a smaller brush, like not as many bristles. Let's go in with another shade. Why don't we try the brown shade from Confident Eyes? And to quickly cover the Instant Eye Palette system or any shadow system found under the Charlotte Tilbury brand, you have numbers on the sleeve to guide the application. So 1, it'll tell you to go on the lid, 2 on the lash line, 3 on the outer corner. However they present it, because again, Charlotte wants to give you as much guidance as possible to take you from red carpet to your eyeballs. But you could apply the shadows in whichever way you see fit. You don't necessarily have to follow the instructions. I rarely do. I'll just say suggestions are a little odd to me, but you know, if Charlotte wants you to put this color here and there, or she thinks that's best, you could try it out. If you hate it, then you do something else next time. 310 I wouldn't necessarily consider a pencil brush because I think it rather big. It's great for the lash lines you see here because it's not going to bring the color down too low. I think a little too big if you wanted to smudge a liner along the lash line. But the metallics though, hold on. This one right here, and we're going in with brush 308, the flat shader. That comes to a little bit, it's not completely domed, it comes to a little bit of a point. These suckers are smooth, look at that. Really nice color lay down. You can tap it on or you can glide it on. You can even blend this in through your crease if you don't want to use a matte at all. And then we'll go into the lighter shade here on the inner part of the eye. That's shiny. These shades are shiny. This turned out to be more golden copper than how it appears in pan. I was expecting something a little more champagne leaning, but you can see how bright it is. Isn't that crazy? And then I'll take the middle metallic shade again and pull it across the lash line. So this brush is great for lower lash line blending. Absolutely. I'll take a little bit of the brown from the Confident Eyes trio and just kind of shape everything out. Go back in with the 307 to do a final blend around. Now, I totally abandoned this side. This is what happens. I get distracted. So this is a deeper olive shade here. It's metallic, but it's great to place on the outer part of the lid. It could be your smoke shade. I think this is actually considered to be the smoke shade under the guidance of Charlotte Tilbury. So you could have applied this shade first and then follow with the more taupey matte to blend. But let's go in with this lighter green. It's like a moss, maybe? Would you consider this to be a moss? So we have a little bit of brightness here on the inner part of the lid. I'm going to wrap it down and around. Go back in with our pseudo pencil brush. Pick up a little bit of the olive shade and pull it here across the lash line. Now we have the black shade here, which I like to put a little bit here on the outer part of the lid just to add a little bit more of intensity of color. But you see how it's a little tricky because of the bigger brush. I can't get super precise and in tight to the lash line, so I have to blend it up more just so it could kind of swim in with all the other shades. We didn't get into these, but these are very shiny, as you see. These could be great to be placed on the inner corner or the lash line, because for this shade here, I could quickly show you. Let me wipe my shader brush so I don't pick up or lay down a deep color on my brow bone. This I could use for my brow bone. That's the breadth of it, right? Not only on that eye, I could also use the shade to blend out whatever shade actually. If I wanted to go back with this brush, I could use this shade to soften the edges of another matte I choose to use on the eyes. I could do the same here. Or you could use that matte or that more, any of these mattes, and then apply these shades on the lid or inner corner. I think this is great for travel too, because you have all these looks that you can mix and match and do with as you like. And you have a lot of possibility here. For instance, I could take this shade, which is actually quite shiny, and tap that on top of that copper shade to give it a little bit of light here. See how that works? If you want more of a highlight from what's provided in that trio, I can even take this shade here, which is like a pinky type of a duochrome moment, put it on top here of the olive. That's fun. Do whatever you want. Very smooth, easy to blend, melts into the skin. Done. And just to pull everything together, why don't we apply a little bit of Pecan from Wayne's nude lipstick line. Oh, and before I apply my mascara, I also ordered another Bioderma because I'm running low. I decided to get the push press top because I think it's easier just to pump out product in a jiffy. This is what I use for multi-look videos because it's the only eye makeup remover for me, for that purpose, that's not going to leave behind a heavy residue that I could just reapply eyeshadow again on the next round. Doesn't burn my eyes. I also use it for multi-blush or multi-cheek product videos that I need to wipe and go in again. It doesn't irritate my skin. It doesn't feel sensitized. So the Bioderma is like holy grail. I'm very impressed with the units. Very soft, beautiful handles, nice design. If you are an exclusive synthetic brush user, I think it's worth taking a look at because the Koyudo La Fuga del Gato series doesn't have a blender brush. It has a great fluffy shader, which you could use to blend color through your crease. But I know how some like to use an exclusively designed blender like the one you saw, the tapered brush. So maybe this set is more appropriate for your use, for your eyeshadow blending techniques. Look is done. We have the eyes, we have the cheek products, we have the foundation. Foundation is looking sweet, fam. I might, again, very impressed by the RCMA 5-part palette. Let me know if you use RCMA in the past, what your, oh, look at the nails. You know what it is? Because they're getting hot. It was all the blending. So the blending, my fingers are hot now. Oh, you know what? That's what I meant to do. I had wanted to use the Danessa as a finishing touch. Excuse me, my bad. Definitely more shiny than the Char. I cannot wait for Lightwork 3. What do you plan to grab for the Beautylish gift card event? Let me know down below what you already have in your basket, what you're on the fence about. Hopefully this video helped, fam. I didn't want to get too crazy about products that I recommended. I just wanted to keep it as curated as possible. But the products that were sent to me upon my request, I absolutely love. The Units brushes, again, really impressed by the shadows. I know these are shades that we've seen before, and typically with Charlotte Tilbury, I mean, it's not that out of the box, but I do enjoy the colors included in this year's holiday palette, the ease of use, the fact that you can be very subdued or be very smoky depending on how you layer the shades. Get back to you about the Mandelic Serum. Excited to use that long term, but I am definitely most excited about this guy. I will continue using it for the rest of the month, for the rest of however long I use it for. Definitely will pick up the foundation and concealer if they have my shade in stock. I shall see. So I'm going to start building my basket now with you if you choose to participate in the gift card event. Thank you again to Beautylish for sending these products and collaborating with me again. I will see you down in the comments, fam. And until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another tutorial, sales event, monthly favorites, or vlog. Take care, and I will see you again soon.